It's Dave BV, and welcome again to another edition of VPC. Thank you so much for joining us all this evening. I hope everyone's had a lovely week. So this evening, who have we got on? We have Future State joining us. Hence why I've gone for my best 80s style Hawaiian shirt out of all the classic films. So first things first, before we get the amazing couple behind Future State on, let's hear about what you guys are drinking. So I've just cracked Future State's Same Blue Chevy Nova. Magnum, Citra, Mosaic, Equinox and Galaxy. And we're going to get into this, but there's pairing suggestions that comes with Future State. Movie recommendation, song, some real sexy vibes. So yeah, what are you guys drinking? Hello, Brad. Party Crusher by Lick. But do you know what? This shirt is so loud, it's actually really hard to read what the comments are. Relax, it's just a hazy IPA. But yeah, so how are you? Hello, Tony. For those who don't know, Grizzly Beers is hosting a giveaway because he's hit quite a magnificent milestone. Not only is he a lovely gent, but yeah, if you don't know, he's got a giveaway and there's some crackers in there. So head over to his page to find out what the dealio is. So as always, we're going to be getting Future State on shortly to go through some of the history of what they've started, a bit about the beers that we'll be drinking this evening. So, as I said, we've got Same Blue Chevy Nova, and also Neon Shadow, which is the Bourbon Barrel Deluxe Stout, which I'm very, very excited about. So, yeah, going to stop saying so. That's a lot of so's, isn't it? If you have questions during the feed, pop them in a little question mark box at the bottom, and we'll hopefully get to those as we go through. And yeah, it'll be an exciting feed. So, let's see if we can get Team Future State on. I'm really enjoying the Nova. Oh, yum. Oh, hello. How are we both?
All good. Let me turn you up a bit.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. I had to. After the request for some sort of 80s theme, I looked in the wardrobe and I thought, hey, this screams some of our favourite cop dramas of the era. So I thought, why not?
After you messaged me that day, that I had to go with just something plain because I was never going to be.
That's a strong Ghostbusters top though. So, firstly, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Cool. Thanks for the invite.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. You guys are doing some very exciting things, and I think there's a lot of people that want to know more. So we'll be going through some questions. But firstly, as your tradition, who the hell are you?
So I'm Rich. I'm the brewing part of Future State and also part of the creative process of Future State. So anything synthy and 80s and hoppy, then yeah, that's where I'm coming from. But I can't do it without the other 50%.
I'm married to that other half of this. I do more like some of the creative, but we sort of bounce that between us. The logistics, and I'm doing all the admin basically. A lot of taking up, that's like a whole general assistance. Yeah.
Awesome. So, are you two cracking any beverages this evening?
We're currently on.
Started with the big boys.
Oh. We've kind of gone the wrong way. We were just eager to get on this one.
In a flamingo glass. Just to go with the whole vibe.
As we don't have our own glassware at the moment, we have to go with the flamingo motif. But cheers.
I obviously should have gone for the flamingo as well. Well, cheers to you both.
Cheers.
So, people are going to be popping some questions into the bottom, so we'll get to those as we go along. But I suppose let's start at the beginning. What got you both into the beer world?
We were talking about this earlier. I think we were trying to really work it out. I think the typical answer, certainly from my side, is I don't know, many millions of years ago I got to try Punk IPA. I think that's the standard answer, right? And it's one of those things, you have it for the first time and then it's like, oh, I'm not sure I like that, but I'll try it again. But I think the beer for both of us was Beavertown Gamma Ray.
Yeah, we literally, we got like older kids, and our kids had got where we could just go out. So we were sort of hitting all these like new bars in London and stuff. And then it was kind of, oh, do you want to try this? And the artwork was so like, oh wow, that was what you're really drawn to. And then we just turned into alcoholics from there, really, and lots of beer tourism all over, everywhere then. And it was travelling then to try different beers as well. It was just like a new thing to do, and something we really liked. So great food and just great places and good experience, and just trying all this new beer that was, everything was so new. So that was,
I think that's the big deal for us. It's like a beer can be great. You add the experience. If the experience is right, takes the beer to another level.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're so fixed on. I mean, 80s is kind of, we're 80s kids, so that's our good memories. So we're trying to put that in the can each time.
Yeah.
We're not alcoholics. We're enthusiasts.
I did not like a beer tourist. I don't know, like not quite.
Yeah.
Well, that's really interesting to hear, though. So I think it's something we'll probably get into a bit more depth later. But I agree with you that beers is more of an experience, not just about what's in your glass at the time. And you guys do something quite special to kind of encapsulate what that is, with rather than tasting notes, pairing notes. So what made that a thing? What made you go, right, do you know what, this is something we want to encapsulate an experience rather than just a tasty beer?
Because I think it was just like that for us, just the drinking the beer and saying, just being out, and then just like different places, and like can artwork was a big deal, always. And so I think it was like a bit of everything at once. It was like we were watching the movies, we were, like just going back over. Well, just think you're drawn to these things that you like, and then you just think you want it to be. It's like Rich said, it wasn't just about having that beer there. It was like, oh, we could have that beer, and it made you're thinking of that or that time, and especially like with like California. Like I think Richard just lived there. If he could live in California, he probably would move to California. But just that, it's the sun, like we've had a lot of rain, so not so much sun, but just that whole thing, just seeing it, like the palm tree, like everything. It just it all become. You can just drink stuff all of the time, but if you drink it and it's a memory or a moment and like new things shared, we just thought that was a really good idea to give to people rather than just.
I think you're right. I think to be genuine, I think we've got more than one love. Like we love beer, but we also love
music.
The music thing's massive, and the 80s as well. And I think the fact that we can bring all of those together is, it's so exciting every time. It's so cool to come up with a new idea, and what would work, and so I think it's the combination of those three things that we love is really where it came from. Being able to do all three, it's pretty cool.
We did Top Gun last year, didn't we? Saw Top Gun in a open outside cinema. You see it outside. God, it's just like a beer, and you just like wait for the theme tune to come in, and then it just takes you back, and you're like, wow. Then you link that memory to that, then. So that's like,
awesome.
Don't too much, but that's,
it was definitely a beer pairing. That was, we did a Synth Highway, a West Coast IPA, and paired that with Top Gun. It's really cool.
That's brilliant. So you went from enthusiasts and this new journey of going, right, do you know what, absolutely love this variety of beer. How did you go from there to going, do you know what, we're going to do this?
Well, I mean, we need to be clear here. I mean, we are just homebrew scale. That's the thing. I think we're blown away by how much people genuinely like what we do. That's amazing. But I mean, we just said, it was probably more me on the brewing side. We thought, we could start a brewery, we could do this, and
buying all this beer, we're like try and make some of this beer.
So I think the idea first of all actually was to maybe start a real real big brewery, commercial brewery. But for a few reasons, we didn't go that route. But at the same time, we went to, I think after just having a fantastic trip you're loving that beer.
I'm loving that beer. It's great beer.
When we came back from California some years back, it was like then we really had the bug and sort of had the confidence we want to do something. And I think then you got the thing to go to U Brew. I don't think U Brew's opened anymore. It used to be in Bermondsey. It was like a place you could go and learn to brew, and it had a brewing club there. And we did that, and that was it. That was the bug then.
It was Bermondsey Mile.
Yeah.
We did the Bermondsey Mile.
Not at the same time, because that gets messy.
And then that was really like, there's lots of great there, but it was kind of like, wow, how cool is this to do something like that? And I think then we did see you brew, and then you thought, oh, that we should do it.
Yeah.
And then like, Rich has a bit of a science background anyway, so like when we went there and they showed us what you're supposed to do, and I could just see his eyes like lighting up, like, oh God, you can buy this equipment. You know, we could have a go at like, you know, I was just like putting the stuff in, a little bit of stir and stuff. He's full on with the lotion, potions and all the other stuff that's going on with it. And then once we did that, it was a bit like, well, you know, you're like, I could do this. So I was like, well, we're going everywhere and spending money and doing all this stuff. Why don't we have a go at, not we, he's the brewer, have a go at doing it ourselves, you know? So, and I could just drink good beer at home as well then. So that was
except that
win-win.
doesn't
well,
work.
that's not happened lately,
No.
because everybody wants to try beer. And now it's a bit like, my brother comes around and I'm like, sorry, Mac, we haven't got any beer. We're just going to go and get some beer.
Yeah.
This beer's all out.
There might be some San Miguel in the fridge, but we haven't got any of our own stairs.
No, we just, but like, luckily lately it's been supporting all the local breweries because of lockdown. So we've tried to do our bit to like, not, you know, don't buy anything generic, just get people, you know, to support the small business. So we've had some of that beer instead, you know, that's just a win-win, hence why it's not a small brewery, but hence why buying not the nicer beers as well.
Yeah.
But your own beers a little bit, if you're not subscribed, you can't.
No.
Get it.
No. So yeah, we obviously want to take it further, but
and you didn't know that would really.
No, I didn't know. Just started it as a hobby, like, and it still is. I mean, as a hobby, like people do. But I think found a real love for it in doing what we do, and probably, in all honesty,
and lockdown as well. Getting back to your day job, we like dies an hour there, 2 hours, 2 hours back. But for lockdown, got a lot more time. Not a lot more time. Like, got a lot of time, but it meant you could really focus on where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do, and then just roll with it really. Then
and really, in all honesty, the thing that really made it happen is the people that, when I sent out a message, you know, put a post out on Instagram or whatever, sent some messages saying, you know, would you want to subscribe to getting some beer from me each month? Like, it was overwhelming. People, like, and just the number of encouraging messages that we get. That's so cool. So that's really then, I think, what's taken it a little bit more, I suppose, taking us to something a little bit more serious, where we're really now sort of caring about what goes out to people who really want what we, you know, what we're doing.
It takes us back to the 80s as well, because we're the same age, so we were 80s teenagers, but we all want to be in fan clubs, and you're like, you know, wanting to get all this stuff, and you couldn't do it, you know, and having that as a concept, almost like you're part of a fan club. It's not fan club. Like, it is fan club. You know, that sort of, like, you know, get badges and all that sort of stuff. It's so well, just 80s rebadged, but that was such a cool era, cool time. And then you've got adults now that can afford to get that stuff, so it's like we could do it. So that's part of it.
Yeah. Awesome. So what was your first foray then? What was your testing of the brewing systems?
You mean in terms of the sort of first successes, or
first beer?
Yeah, what was your first beer that you made yourself, and that you went happy with this?
So
I got a grandchild, and that was your first beer you made.
Yeah,
you made a beer. But a grandchild called Willoughby, so he did a Willoughby beer.
Yeah, did a pale ale. Just basically for my to celebrate my grandson.
And your first beer. It was like your first
and that went that actually went really well.
It was a good aim. Your grandchild had a good beer.
It was
so
a
that
really good. And there's bits from that beer actually that I'm still using now. You know, with the grist and sometimes, you know, combination. So it's really good. And then there were lots of beers after that that were just rubbish. Because I did what I think a lot of people do. Then you go, great, I'm now going to brew this 9% thing, and it's just, it's terrible.
It went a bit Mary Berry on beer, and you know, I think you have to sort of do what you're good at, not everything, and then keep learning by making. We made this change beers, and I was like, well, maybe if you did one beer and a few times, you should sort of learn it. Not learn it better. Is that the word? Like get the recipe right, like change.
And you see, this is the relationship.
Yeah,
when it comes to straightforward thinking, problem solving, this is where you come in.
But the technical and all the the science side, that's you. But
sometimes there needs to be some rational.
Yes, it's not very rational sometimes. That's obvious not to do that, but
I think early on we made the saison as well, a raspberry saison, which you really
I take most of. It did a saison, and I'm not really a saison fan really, but it did a raspberry. Yeah, it's like raspberry, but it was more like a fizzy drink, and I was a bit like, are you sure it's beer? What percent was?
No, it was only about 5%.
It was only about 5%, but when you drank like a few glasses of it, to test it, it was like it was a good beer. But sadly, not enough people.
Up, doesn't it?
It does. It is.
I'm on my 6th pint of this, and it's bloody hot. I'm going to go to sleep now.
He's 3 glasses in, and he's trying to test me on stuff, and I'm like, oh yes, it's very raspberry,
Which is actually a good answer, because whenever you put raspberries in beer, it's just raspberries for ages. It's quite a difficult one to work with. It's good if you want to just cover everything else up.
Yeah,
it's a tricky one.
Yeah, fruits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. So, well, I suppose it's probably a good time to talk through if we introduce Same Blue Chevy Nova. So, is this what the subscribers are getting next?
No, this is what they had in June.
Wicked. So do you want to talk about behind the how this came to be?
1973.
Yeah.
So we know.
It's a whole bunch of stuff going on in there, from the idea, the name, the idea, the everything. Quickly, give some of the rundown. So so it's a 73 Chevy Nova. That's our birth date. Both born in 73. And then
great car era.
All of that, fantastic. Then it was a kind of a bit of a play around also with, we do like the beers with bitterness, so we're always going to be putting out the West Coast. But even with the sort of juicier, hazy ones, it's always playing around with bitterness. So on that one, we actually did pile in a lot of Magnum into the boil, and it is really, call it the Axel Foley punch, because it has got quite a bit of kick. It's actually quite interesting, because I can't work it out. I think from the hop combo, you almost get like this fruit thing going on as well, which almost can push the bitterness into almost the sour IPA territory. I would say it's a weird one. So that's been actually really good. It's been a really good. It's been good because it's been very different from the other ones that we've done. And then Same Blue Chevy Nova, that comes from a line in Beverly Hills Cop 1 where...
We've watched a lot of Beverly Hills Cop lately.
Yeah, where she's meeting up with Axel, and she's like, oh, I remember we were kids and you were driving that shitty old blue Chevy Nova. He's like, what are you driving now? And he's like, that same shitty blue Chevy Nova. So it had to be Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills Cop 2 as well, which is, for me, probably better than Beverly Hills Cop 1. So, I mean, in that whole thing as well, you've just got the options there to also pair it with the music. So that one goes with Sunglasses Kid. I don't know if any of you guys have given him a listen, but his music is awesome, utterly awesome. Guy producing retro 80s sounding stuff that gives you that real kind of like college kids kind of 80s movie
vibe. That's been the real big thing of it as well, because I think that we like California and we like the beers we like, but then when Rich with the music, the synthwave is such a small amount of artists, which is I didn't know this. I mean, I know the music because we always listen to it. Because I always listen to it, then I listen to it, then I point out it's my new favourite album. Because we always listen to those things. But that with the music wise, like everybody, all the musicians, they're not like, I don't think they have huge egos or anything. So they've all like messaged and said, oh, it's so great, the beer, you've been influenced by us, you know, and then they've sent you like they've been getting like stuff sent, you know, like little, I don't know, little cards, whatever. And we sent some of the beers because they're like, oh, we'd love to try it. And I mean, we even went to a gig, the midnight gig before lockdown, and Richard done a beer inspired by them. And then we got to drop them off some beer, and then they put on Instagram, they were like, you know, thanks so much for this beer, you know, like we actually got in the roundhouse around the back, gave it to security, and they took it to the band. And it, like, that again was like when we were kids, and you like couldn't afford to go to the gigs when you could, you like that the people still want to see you, or they like reference that they know you, you know, that they know the beer or whatever, and that's so like, well, a bit rock and roll, but more like in a way, rock and roll. But that's like been a really cool thing as well. So that's been another big thing to the beer, I think, as well, that we're so like a small home brewery, but because you can get around the world now, you know, it's like kind of everybody's, well, you could get around the world, you can now, but everyone's really got onto that, and that's really made it even like a more like a niche. He can read things at the same time. I can't do all this. Yeah,
I see. Lucy's asking about t-shirts and glasses. Yeah, we and retro sunglasses, Nathan. Yeah, we are. Oh, we will get on that for sure. It's definitely because we want it. We want to walk around.
Yeah, it's just our family alone. Wherever we. Yeah, no, and I think that just your family alone, like we got with our kids and their partners and stuff, we'd be like half a brewery if we were out, you know, like because there's enough of that. They wouldn't be like, who's Future State? Do you know what I mean? It's like they've got loads of stuff. Yeah, and that's well because you're so like into like he's really into. You haven't got it on tonight. You got like, your jacket because he's really into that stuff. It's like you want to get it right if you're going to do it. You want it to be a really good thing and not just a. Because you know everything's been 100%. It's got
to fit with what with what we do, because we love it too much to do it half-assed, really. So so we will get there because we really want to do it. Yeah. We really want to do glasses. In fact, if anyone can recommend a good company who does printing, that would be, because I've looked at a few. I would really like to do like chrome colours, obviously for 80s. I think I saw the Beerwolves glass was on a gold. Yeah, had a gold one. So if anyone's got recommendations, please just could you hit us up and let us know. Yeah,
I've got a hookup for your shirts and other merch. So I'll let you know afterwards. So on that, let's grab some questions. So my good friend and fellow Dank Dad, Matt Drinks Beers, asks, any plans for some sours?
So we've talked about this. I think the main thing at the moment with regards to any sort of other styles is what we're able to produce in a month on our kit, because we're brewing brewing 30 litres at a time. Wow. So you can imagine it's a bunch of batches. Yeah.
You must be cleaning continuously.
Yeah.
No, we haven't. No. He
does. Yeah.
I do a lot of cleaning, but I needed help. I really needed help, and now you help out with the cleaning.
Again, because that's the thing. He does it all like a scientist. I'm like, you just get all that stuff in there, take all that stuff out there. We don't need to do one thing.
I do one thing at a time.
I'm like,
so sours definitely interested in that kind of, especially the introduction of fruit and trying to really get that right. Yeah. We've done quite a lot of.
You did do a fruit. What was
we've done a bunch of stuff, and we did strawberries. Yeah. Oh my god, strawberries
were a real issue because it made it go really like.
It's like super tart, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it was a really off-colour pink as well, and it looked like it had gone mouldy. It didn't look good. You wouldn't have. It tasted lovely, but you wouldn't have chose to drink it by its look because you tried freeze-dried. You did real freeze-dried.
Freeze-dried strawberries.
Yeah, and we had tons of these. Yeah. And they just, the sugar in them, it went to nothing, didn't it? Just
like, I remember one batch exploded. Yeah. Pink explosion.
So we've had a lot of,
but no, definitely sours, and also just some bigger stouts as well. But again, they take time. They take more cake time or conditioning time. And again, at our scale at the moment, we're constantly playing sort of juggling act between moving fermenters around. We've got 2 fridges, one works better than the other, so if you've got a cold crash, you really need to move them around so that decent fridge can crash.
a lot of old fridges as well, which weren't helping.
Yes, that's a hobby in itself, collecting fridges off eBay.
You've got what you need for what you need. Like, so that was, we've had a few funny incidences of that. And you are thinking now about scaling up to be bigger. So that was the next deal as well. It's as big as we can still be in our home, and then do the maximum amount rather than keep doing everything. Keep recycling all the kegs and all the. It's like it's an endless. At the moment, you've got like a little list of everything every night you're doing. So you can keep the beer continually coming, and then if we have an issue, that we still have enough beer to roll for the club because there's no trial, there's no room for error. And we have had some error. We have the canning machine. It's a lot to do with like the oxygen and stuff.
That's our biggest challenge. That's been our problem with hoppy beers at our scale and everything manual, keeping oxygen out. It's and like we've got better and better to improve it. But at the end of the day, we don't have like an 80 grand canning line, so we have to like. Oh my god, I am shitting my pants every time we can.
Oh, sorry, I swear about that. But when we got this canning thing, it was a big deal, and it was okay because we were just doing it without any, it wasn't not for anyone in particular. It was just for us to try or for my family, stuff like that. But when you're then doing it, so you have to be your gloves and your hair and all this sort of stuff and everything, it really adds the pressure. Even though we know we're doing everything like super clean and super everything, but you still just movement, which I didn't know. You learn so much. That's sort of the science bit, which is what you're really good at as well. Is just from the sterilising of putting the cans, lids, all of it. It's got to be fast and quick, and you've not got to get in each other's way while you're doing it. You
just don't have oxygen in anything.
Yeah. So you do it with canning machines, they're great, but when you try and do it yourself with that, manually, like passing along with the beer and get the head right and where to put the lid on, it's like the cap, whatever you call it. That's a lot of work as well. That's been quite difficult. So
but that's the thing. It's you're not on your own there. I mean, I know from kind of small shops like yourself to your big names that we recognise. It's a part of everyone will chuck out a couple of oxidised cans. It's how it's a part of what we do. Until someone really smart gets their head together and makes a canning machine that you can take everywhere and does it with no problem.
Because they also feel like they do that. Yeah, definitely. You're constantly like tweaking everything. It's
Matt is saying he'll come and help and can beer. Fantastic.
Yeah, can come and help. Yeah.
Then we've got someone to blame.
Yeah, and then even a few cans have crushed, and you push the thing down, and you're like, and then it just goes like the beer's everywhere, and you're like, oh my god, what have we done? You just don't think it's gonna happen. So that is.
I realised
that's a skill in itself.
I didn't mention about Dave asked about Neon Shadow, the bourbon stout. Oh. So I mean, just a quick note on that. So actually, the base beer of Neon Shadow was from a stout we did earlier this year called the Great Decade, which some people really liked, which the malt bill kind of comes across as it is a bit roasty, but it's very chocolatey and a bit sort of almost cookie dough from that grist, which I was super happy with, just to be able to kind of pull that out just using the grains. But when we were in the US, I got a Bullet Bourbon stave from a barrel, and then
we went to a great brew shop, didn't we? Full on beer for sale and beer and all the brewing equipment and loads of people to help with what you. It's like it's not a bigger market, like a different market over there. Like everyone's so into in the shop, you're being followed around like you would be at Asda or Tesco's, asking what bits you need and what you'd want, and you're a bit like
homebrewing's on another
level, like stuff you couldn't get.
But so we had a contact, got this stave, and then used that. I think it was about 6 months in the keg to get the flavour. So it's not. I mean, to be fair, I'm still a bit cautious with some of the flavours. I'm not massive on bold flavours yet. But the bourbon's there for sure. And then it's quite a sort of cookie dough, chocolatey thing going on. And it's only 8%, so. But
it's a full-on 8%. So you can do it stouts. The guys at Stout have been really good. Like I like the big beers, and I do like the big stouts as well. They're like, I don't know, don't want to drink load of it, just a little bit, but good flavour. But the stouts you've really done well at. I think that they were like, that was sort of one of the Cheers.
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 Yeah.
I'm on. So one of our local breweries, fantastic brewery, and they actually the brewer there, Mike, double barrel,
Right.
double barreled in Reading. Such a nice couple, Lucy and Mike, and they give me loads of advice and support and stuff. So this is Ding. This is their lager, and it is you can just crush it.
Well, we're different. You say. Are you right?
Go on.
So I've just cracked it. And
nice.
And you're not wrong.
That's
gorgeous. So hats off to you, because that's really, really good. Definitely get what you're saying though. There's at the Atheum Hotel in London. They used to have a whiskey room, and they used to do loads of bourbon-based cocktails, and one of them was a cookie dough lace. So it was it was really pretentiously done on top around the glass, and then it was I can't remember what age of bullet it was, but and it's that you can taste. There's this kind of rich biscuitiness. Yeah, this is fantastic. Well, so congratulations.
Yeah, because I thought we were like, he's like, well, what does it taste like? And I'm a bit like, oh, it's thick, so that's really good for 8%, but it tastes like it's a bigger stout than that. Which you can have a stout. I like that. Like, tastes thick is a strange saying, but like it tastes like that. But that makes a good stout. But also that you could really taste it in it as well. But
definitely.
you were saying it was really like the cookie ice cream, so, like that.
Yeah, I think the bourbon's actually helped to kind of round that all off a bit.
Yeah, so you had two wants to test it, trying different things, because he's like, try them both, and you're like, oh, that's like one tastes like whiskey, one tastes more like ice cream, so to blend them both in to make that same.
It's a tricky balance where if you go too much of the sweet side, you'll get a well-known brewery who, for me, it's just fixed sugar in a can. I don't care how far from Wales it comes, it's shit. But you get something that's actually got a flavour profile, and that's what you want. So I get that. I get that. Well done.
You've done well at Stouts. That's definitely been a good. I think they've been good. Yeah, we did. Was not Fern or the earlier one? That was
Chris has asked, and I'm pretty sure we all know the answer, but let's look into what the playlist is. So is it the? Well, actually, before I put onto that. This kind of falls into line with that. It's Pit Viper UK also puts what comes first, the beer, the movie, or the music. And for me, that probably is encapsulated in one big thing there. So what's the process?
It literally is all three things in a row like that, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. I've noticed a bit of a trend that we will be, when we are kind of probably finalising a beer or getting into some of the sort of end part of the scheduling of one beer, we'll get into something new, or an artist that we love releases another, makes a new release or maybe a new album or something, and then we just start playing that every time, like if canning or other things that happen every night in the brewery, doing stuff, and then so then that new music comes in, and it tends to start to influence the vibe and the feel for the next beer. So because even the imagery of certain artists, you kind of can push you one way or the other. So there's a beer we're putting out next week. It's inspired by a guy called Michael Elliott, who has a real, like, for me, like a real West Coast kind of vibe in his music and his artwork and stuff like that. So instantly that already pushes, when you start thinking about the next beer, you got Michael Elliott Palais in. It goes like that. When we did Chasing Sundown, Chad, who's Moonrunner 83 from Canada, that was already playing, and it just pushes this. This has got to be a nice, like, juicy, hazy.
Palm Trees and Carolines was the only song title taken from taken from an artist. That was actually one of his words as well, but one of his lines of his songs.
Yeah, that's the Bad Dreamers.
Well, we also like with the film, like we have a lot of people, teenagers, not teenagers, but even with our kids, that we've always, like, all our favourite films are literally the 80s films, so we've played them all over and over. Like our son's is Top Gun. Like it's like, but you like. So because we've been revisiting them all the time, or if we are going to watch anything, it always is Labyrinth is my favourite film all time ever. Big Trouble in Little China. So we like And then people have told us other films that we didn't watch because in the 80s you only watched videos, you know, so you watch the same films over and over again. So like so many we've revisited again as well. And then Rich always has music wherever we are. There's always, you have music in the garage, music in the kitchen, we have a big hi-fi. So like there's always music playing, and it literally, they all roll in. So I think that you like, and then memories again, because then you're back in California again, or someone with a palm tree, and then it's a simple artist that does. I mean, there's a load of I've got loads of cassettes at the moment, because cassettes, we're really old school with everything. Like Rich Alison Walkman, you know, and like I like use that like fashion that you like, and then with the Memphis style that you went on Instagram, a big Instagram, you know, so you like, you're just seeing stuff, and then they all those things roll in together. I think you're really influenced by loads of things you don't realise, and then you're like, oh, that's like the trainers we got, or that's the, you know, like
even on the hops, you know, it'll be the use of a hop in one beer that will then give you a memory from something, or it's even from somebody else's beer. You know, a prominent hop comes through when you're drinking it, you're having a good time, and then you remember that for like the, you know, it's like a memory that sticks with the next beer you want to do, or with a beer down the line, because it was at the same time that you were having good fun and talking, or even watching one of the movies. So it's never, sometimes the beer could come first, sometimes the music comes first, sometimes the movies, or the California vibe comes.
Naturally. But he has a really good, like, the taste of it. Like when we were drinking so much beer, which we were drinking, trying all these beers, at one point you just started to break down, like, that's got mosaic in it, that's Citra BBC, you know, that's like El Dorado, like, I don't know the hops, but like I know a list of them, because he's like, oh, that's got that, that's influenced by that, and then that you also started, that was a bit of a link to it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like kind of, you realise what, like for me, if I don't know the hops in it, I'm not going to like the beer, so I like, got a bit choosy, you know, beer choosy.
You're a beer snob.
I am a beer snob, yeah, literally, it's calories, you know, and if you're going to have lots of calories, you might as well have what you like. So it was a bit like that. You'd see what was in the ingredients, you know, like what it was, to whether you like it. Or you don't.
Alison walks into a bar. Have you got a dipper?
No.
No, I don't want anything.
Do you have anything that's hop forward? Have you got anything?
I love that in a bar. I'm looking for hop forward beers. What have you got? Oh God, another one's coming.
Really funny answers. Yeah, we have had really, it's not real, so not
Well,
that's some fun.
Of hop play, the Crafty Hopper, I'll go for Brad's asked favourite hop to play with.
Oh, that's interesting. So I will say something a bit controversial. I'll say Sabro.
Really?
Because it is such a dodgy, risky hop to commit to. Spend, you know, a lot of money on building a beer and putting Sabro in it. I recently spoke to a brewer who's got a very big brewery, just brewed a big beer, and you know, was talking about Sabro as well, and we're just kind of laughing about it can go one way or the other. I've kind of been careful with Sabro, but also wanted the challenge. So when we did Rewind or Turnover, the beer from a couple of months ago, it was a Sabro beer, and I think most people actually thought, it worked for them. You just need to get the right mix.
I agree. Yeah, totally. I mean, don't be daft, drink craft. It's echoing that. It's exactly that. Get it right, it's great. If you get it wrong, everyone's going to be knowing about it.
You
cannot. No, you do the list of what you use or whatever. Use lots of seeds.
A lot of Citra.
El Dorado, like loads of the ingredients out of the beer. I know, it's a new skill I've got. I know what goes in to these beers.
So if you walked into a bar today, Alison, and there was biggest range going, what's the hop that you're going to go, right, that's leading the charge for me? I want a sticky mosaic, or what are you going for?
Strata.
Strata, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's relatively new, and we haven't had that many. Although I think the beers that generally we have had in the UK with Strata and have been generally really good.
What's the one?
Yeah, I think we had, when we were lucky just before lockdown. We were in US earlier this year for our daughter's wedding, and
we were lucky. We all got COVID.
we were ill afterwards, but at least we got to enjoy the US.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I think I really tried some beers that were really loaded up with strata, and it's like it's kind of got a bit of everything. But also Mosaic, it's fantastic, providing it's top shelf Mosaic.
Yeah,
I always joke, like, for me as a home brewer, it's far more difficult. I have to really pick when I'm using Mosaic which ones I use, because if you don't want that super savoury thing, then you have to be quite picky with it. Whereas the big breweries have got the contracts and they get lovely Mosaic, top shelf Mosaic. I call it top tier.
So Jamie Oliver calls it. It's like the best.
Yeah,
the
but if it's
best.
good, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's utterly wonderful. It's probably my first experience actually of where I made a real connection between the sort of tropical flavours and Mosaic. I mean, Mosaic's kind of getting on now a little bit as a hop, but it's really
it's
really
shifted
good.
from being that kind of break into the fold. Go back 3-4 years of, wow, what's this hop doing? Wow, blimey! So now it's kind of right. Oh, do you know, we need to go back to old trusty, and it's we're now kind of like, I'm waiting for one brewery's going to do it. Next year maybe Mosaic Classic. It will just be do you remember this? This is we're just going to throw back to what you first remember of it.
Vintage hop.
I see Ed just joined. Sunglasses Kid has joined as well. Thank you so much, dude, for joining. Thank you for inspiring our beer.
There we go.
Great to see you're on.
So opening the beer audience to even the synthwave artists.
Yeah, trying to mix the beer and the synth together.
Getting everything together. Yeah, it's good.
Well, my good friend Matt, Matt Drinks Beers, who put a question forward on earlier. One of my fellow dank dads. He's got right into the synth scene because of you guys. Literally going from back of cans to going, right, okay, let's jump on Spotify. So, but it's both ways.
Yeah.
We're very grateful to Matt. He's one of our subscribers as well, and I'm glad if we've brought him some joy on the synthwave.
He loves it.
You've had a bit of that as well. People going, oh, like, you'd only watch that film once, and they're like, oh, okay, watch it again, and then they were like, you don't realise how good it is, or like, because you either watch something over and over, or you just watch it once and you don't. There was so much you don't go back to it. But then when you start pointing out the soundtrack to things, which, like, because we were saying to music, we always have a lot of soundtracks. You know, that's another added experience to it, isn't it? And then because synthwave, everyone's taking some of the old and the new, the old synthwave and the new synthwave, and putting this stuff in as well. It's like that's such a good a rebadge. You're like, is this? I'm like, is this like original synth, or is this like dark wave synth, or this new synth? All these titles for everything now, but it's like, it's so cool they're making it sound like it was then. Also, it's so cool that it's new with some of the old stuff redone as well.
New production. It's brilliant.
Such a good,
I think I love the fact that some people now will post our beers and they'll put, they'll link it to some of the synthwave music. I think Matt actually put a Sunglasses Kid. I think he had Graduation or something on his story as well, which is that. I love it. If we can spread the love on synthwave music, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's coming together of so many different groups and different enthusiasts. It's why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I've just realised we've been chatting the breeze for, very nicely for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna go back to some questions that I sent you ahead of time. I think the big one everyone will want to know is what's next. What can we look forward to for Future State? What's the big picture?
So the plan is that it's go big or go home. So we are in the process of and the red tape process of basically scaling up and doing everything we need to be able to do that legitimately. Does it mean that we're going to be producing loads and distroing it to bottle shops and stuff? Probably not. No. What we will be able to do...
We want to get in a keg and get to a festival as well.
Yes.
That'd be like... We have Craft Theory Festival in Reading. I don't know. this.
Well,
But
you've got
that's a
an
great
invite for the Dank Dad's bar for Arundel, so you need
Oh,
to.
Aaron's a lovely.
We'll need to get you in a keg for January. So touch wood,
yeah,
everything
no,
goes to plan. So there you go. There you go. You've got a challenge. January keg.
yeah, no,
Wow.
right, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, if
Yeah.
it goes. It'll go quick, but it'll just be so good to actually. I mean, it's great to do because it's in the cans and only so people can try it. But it would be great to take it somewhere where you can get a genuine feedback as well.
I would just love to pour beer for some of the people who send us such encouraging words on Instagram. It would be an absolute joy. But yeah, come back to share the love.
Yeah.
But coming back to the question, we just need to we need to scale up. Nothing big, but it would allow us to get more beer out. We honestly, what we would do is just increase the size of our club. That's what we would do in the next step.
Yeah, because it's so much time. It's so much time for Rich. You research so much is the pictures, the Instagram, for doing all these things. But you have so much good feedback. We have a good pub as well in Reading called the Fox and Hound. I've forgotten what it's called. The guy that owns it, Kev.
Yeah.
But when Rich first started to do the beer, his future state, you didn't know who you were, and we'd obviously been there a few times. And I think you'd got chatting about, did he want to try some beer? And then we're in, he was like, oh my God, it's you. And then he was like, I have to say that you have the best Instagram that I've seen. He's got his own pub and his own, and he was like, so, I think he's a bit younger than us, isn't he? But he was like, just thought that the concept was great. He's looking forward to seeing the pictures and again, just reminding people about the movies and stuff that they'd forgotten. The stuff's all there. I mean, they're rebadging everything, but they don't need to, just to stick with the originals. It's that was such good feedback as well.
It was,
that was really good, because it wasn't just because you're from a place, it doesn't mean people have to know who you are. It was just more about the beer had got out before he was out. Do you know what I mean? That was a really good, and that's what thought it was a good.
But yeah, that's the next plan. That's what we need to do. So many people have been so patient and said, where can I get your beer? It's like, well, you can't, because we've only got this tiny amount, and we have people who have subscribed for it, and they get it.
It looks a bigger deal than it is. It's not a bigger deal, but bigger amount or whatever. Because obviously with the artists as well, tying them in too. It's been that's been really cool.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's great. There's a lot of the questions in the box at the moment are talking about crowdfunding, and I suppose it's. I know a lot of people are very pro it. Quite a few people are very against it. Is it something you would consider in the kind of the future state? If we're looking at a 5-year plan for future state, is it something you'd look at? Is it something you have looked at, or
we'd consider for the future state?
Yeah.
Nice.
Future state. For the state of future state, probably would consider at that point. But that is not at the moment. It's a bit more. You're just as much as we can do, or you can do, as well, because he has a day job too. It's
that's it.
It's the in between thing. It's what that would be what you want to do full time, but you still have to pay the bills.
I think that would be the next step. I think where we can scale it now, still have a day job.
Still do as much art and stuff as you do, because it's the whole thing. It's not just about. If we just did beer, we could probably make loads of it. Maybe not loads of it, but if you're not, and you have got to think about it and the artwork, because you're doing all that. Even say having the square logo, trying to source the cat. It's there's a few homebrew. There's a lot in it as well that you have to do without actually just making the beer. That's kind of. And now we're realising a lot of legal loopholes as well that you have to. I have to jump through as well, to do something.
Yeah.
So
so that would be that's a sort of shorter and long term.
Yeah, get it into festivals and then get bigger.
To be pouring it for you guys would be a dream.
And ultimately, it'd be to have a massive tap room, playing the movies, having the whole experience, to smell the smells, to have some sand to put your feet in, and to just generally talk to people that you like what you like, and just do some movie night. Great. Sing, I don't know, it's such a good concept, but it'd be so good to be able to put it somewhere as well. But
and then we get Sunglasses Kid.
Then we'd have a live stage.
He's UK based. He can come in, play a show. Chad from Canada, Moon Runner, can come in, play a show.
Well, we could just zoom them in now. Everything's you can just have
yeah.
I mean, I think I said this to you a while ago when I was lucky to get Chasing Sundown. that just the imagination behind the concept of yours, picturing what a future state tap brewing would be like.
Yeah.
This blew my brain. That would be
great.
Yeah. It's just for the last hour of the night where suddenly all the normal lights go off and it's just neon. We're roller skating disco. It's great. We're like living the dream.
Definitely.
We have a few neons. We do have one fairy neon, don't we? We can put our
But the actual not you can really see.
We tried to do a little mini future state.
Yeah, that's a genuine neon flamingo. I don't know why the flamingos have become so connected with the 80s, but
yeah.
I'm
This is a
going through my 80s movie Rolodex trying to think of something that's got a flamingo reference in. Because that's there you go.
I mean,
that could
probably
be your raspberry
dancing.
saison returning can have a flamingo theme to it.
You have to do that. Yeah, we Dirty Dancing. Yeah, we have done that.
Oh, and I see Blade Runner comes up as well. Yeah, that's my number one. That is my number one movie. Gorgeous movie. And even Blade Runner, even 2049 Blade Runner as well. Love them both. Brings me to tears. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But let's stick on the my. I'm picturing it now. I've dreamed up your tap room. We've got the music. We've got the cinema. We've got the beers.
Yeah.
What's the food? What do you think when you picture people sitting and enjoying in one place your beers? Can you imagine what food it is they'll be having with it?
Well, we have a few things. We're huge on cheese. I know not, but we are huge on cheese.
It's great with beer.
But also, it's Rome. We have those they're like fried bread things.
I don't know what they're called, but the real savoury, toasted
it's like
bread things to go with again pairing. I think cheese. The only thing I would say
something from Rome, something from California.
Yeah, ahi pokey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, the tuna kind of
like
sort of taco thing.
Yes,
there's a lot of that good, like California, quite like small cuisine sort of bits and pieces that would work so well.
Yeah, like tapadi sort of
I
stuff.
don't think it pairs as well as cheese.
No, yeah. You just have to have continual food. So we like little tapasy things. You just need something all the time.
Keep grazing. Keep drinking. Keep grazing. Yeah.
And because definitely, if you like the stronger beers, like I do, like a smaller pour, and then a nice something to go with that. Or but foods we've not really got into so much food. We just love food anyway. But obviously,
So
I clearly too do. You got me at tacos. So it was like, you just fill those with anything, you'll be fine.
We have a bottle shop in Reading called the Grumpy Goat, and they do like what they call a happy box. Yeah. And they'll, I literally just have to say to Anne-Marie, I just need the latest hoppies. And cheese, and they know exactly what we want, and we end up with some fantastic cheese, fantastic hoppy beer.
It was like a week shop, and it literally was a wall of beer and 3 blocks of cheese and the sourdough bread, and it was like, well, we did it over 2 days, but that was like that was lockdown joy. That was just like, oh wow, some beers you hadn't heard of, and
definitely. That sounds like heaven. I've just got to point out, Chris, he's named the whatever you call your menu. 8 bites. Done.
What is 8 bites?
Oh,
yes, very cool.
Yeah. He's a clever guy, that man. Clever guy.
Very good.
I have to say, I'll be honest, this has flown by. I keep seeing the time at the top and thinking, Christ, I don't know where the time's gone. So
we've gone through all your questions as well, written down. Just got prompts just in case I need them, because I always get like a bit like.
That's right. We've hardly touched on them. It's been a real pleasure to have you. So if
does that mean we can come back, Dave?
Yeah.
Well, it's as soon as you want to, it'd be an absolute pleasure to have you guys back. So if anyone was, when we get to the point where we can get your beer out and about, what's the beer that you'd say is someone's clicked on this by accident, they need to know what Future State is. What's the one beer that you've made and released so you go, that really encapsulates our brewing ethos, that's us?
To be honest, any of them we talked about this a bit earlier, but like any of them encapsulate it, because everyone is so carefully put together to make sure we've got Chasing Sundown. Chasing Sundown would
Chasing Sundown was
be
like
due
a
a
really good that was an all-round Californian moment. in a beer, good artwork, Chasing Sundown, great title.
It's
like,
actually it's a Canadian moment as well because it's Chad.
yeah, as well. Yeah,
it's good actually. Yeah,
yeah, because I have my best friend's in Canada, so we sent her some beer because she's huge on. Well, she didn't like beer, and now she's the beerist snob. She's going to tap rooms and all sorts of checking these beers to know what she likes. She's sending us some from Canada because obviously they just don't get out from there. But we said her, she got the beer 1 month later after, so I was like, drink it quick because you know it's fresh, best to have it fresh beer, you know, been through travel and everything. He took another month to get his beer, didn't he?
He's in
and we were
Calgary.
really worried, like, you know, would the beer be good or not? And he did a story, and it was like, it just rolled, and the sun was shining. He's poured this beer with his wife in his garden. The background was amazing, and you're like, we're just watching it thinking, oh, that's your beer, Rich. You know, like, we're just like, it was the sunglasses with everything. It
so
was
Chasing Sundown, we'll do a rebrew at some point.
That was a really good. So that was a really good.
I'd be happy with that. That was my intro into what you do. So I'd be happy to see that come back. So let's talk. We've got 4 minutes, so let's talk membership.
Right.
So we know you've got a limited amount.
Yes. Yeah. So it's simple. We're fully subscribed, but we're going to scale up, and then we'll offer more membership.
Yeah, and put out if we get to a festival where we're going to be, so people could come. Maybe that might be. Yeah.
But we apologise to everyone who hits us up and asks for beer, and they're so encouraging, and literally we have to keep saying, no, I'm really sorry. It's a really nice problem to have, but not nice for people who want to try our beer. So.
Because as well, you don't want to be snobby about it. It's like we just generally haven't got it.
No,
it's not because we're not even drinking it.
Dead men's shoes situation, really, isn't it? So if someone drops out, that's where until you have the capacity, it's a great thing to be in. So yeah. So keep an eye out on future states. So where can people find out when they're slots?
Instagram, Dave. Instagram's the best medium. Pictures galore, sunsets.
It's instant art, isn't it? And like, here's what you want to look at, and what you want to see is there, and you can just be part of it. So that's like, we are big Instagrammers. Yeah, definitely.
Just please always put the sound on when I post a story, because it'll always have music. I've always picked like the perfect part of the music.
I'm not that smart. When I do like reposts, it's done that. I go, oh, all right, cool. I drew a logo and I just post that same logo because I'm not as smart as you at doing all the fancy stuff.
No, I struggle as well.
Even Top Gun again. God, look at me like I'm promoting Tom Cruise. I'm not even a fan. I love the film, just not him. But one of the people did a little video.
Nathan. Yeah,
oh,
fantastic.
Nathan. Oh, it's brilliant. Like it's the fact that someone thought that the beer was that good that they like made their own little mini video to it. You know, it's like such a good, and obviously so it hit. That's when you know it really worked, because he loved the concept, liked the beer, liked what it was about, and then did that back again. And it's like, that's just
again,
so cool.
thanks to everyone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you.
Humbling, that is.
Awesome. Well, we've got loads of questions so we're gonna have to get you back on, because there's so much more that I think we need to learn about you guys. But thank you. Cheers, because this is bloody gorgeous.
Cheers.
Members who haven't actually opened their can of Neon Shadow yet, you're very lucky, because that is very naughty.
It's not gone out yet. You're the first.
You're the first, Dave. They get it next week.
It's still in the fridge.
I'm getting on Untapped and I'm cracking that.
Well, Dave, give me 24 hours now. I haven't got it on Tapped yet.
I'll keep refreshing. I'll keep refreshing. Well, thank you so much, guys. I could chat to you for hours. Best of luck. Love what you do, and I look forward to the next chapter. Anyone that doesn't buy Future State, click on them now. And love to see you guys soon. Keep safe. Keep cracking out bangers like these.
There you go.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. See you guys. Bye bye.
See you guys later.
Bye.